For years, I believed loyalty was the backbone of success. As a senior data analyst at a mid-sized tech firm in Austin, I prided myself on turning chaos into clarity. My spreadsheets were legends in quarterly meetings, my algorithms the silent engines behind our company's growth, but no amount of code could parse the betrayal brewing beneath the surface. It started with small irregularities, discrepancies in client reports, sudden shifts in project timelines. At first, I blamed burnout. The startup culture demanded relentless hours, and our team had been stretched thin after losing 2 developers to Silicon Valley giants. But when our biggest client, a healthcare conglomerate, nearly severed ties over a leaked product roadmap, suspicion hardened into certainty. Someone was sabotaging us. The clues were subtle but damning. Logs showed unauthorized access to secure servers during hours when only a handful of us had clearance. Forensic audits traced anomalies to an internal login, but the trails dissolved like smoke. I began watching my colleagues differently. Was it Mara, the ambitious project manager who joked about selling trade secrets to afford her Tesla? Or Liam, the quiet intern with a knack for bypassing firewalls? Then, one sleepless night, I found it, a ghost folder buried in a deprecated server. Inside were duplicates of sensitive contracts, each tagged with timestamps matching the breaches. The files had been scrubbed of metadata, but a single oversight betrayed their origin, a watermark from a proprietary template only one person used. Ethan Cole, my protégé. The kid I'd mentored for 3 years, who'd cried in my office when his father died, who'd sworn this job was his lifeline. His betrayal wasn't just professional, it was intimate. He'd weaponized my trust, using my shortcuts, my access, even my coffee breaks to cover his tracks. For months, he'd siphoned data to a rival firm, trading company secrets for a signing bonus that would have paid his student loans twice over. I confronted him quietly, away from the open-plan buzz of the office. His denials were polished, rehearsed. But when I slid a printout of the watermark document across the table, his face drained of color. He didn't beg, didn't explain, just stared at the paper as if it were a verdict. "You'll ruin me," he finally said. I didn't answer. Let him marinate in uncertainty. But reporting him felt hollow. The company would fire him, maybe sue him, but Ethan would rebrand himself in some other city, his LinkedIn wiped clean of stains. I wanted consequences that lingered, a reckoning only patience could design. Revenge, I realized, required precision, a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. Ethan's weakness wasn't greed. It was ego. He craved validation, the thrill of outsmarting systems. So I gave him a new puzzle to solve. I began fabricating a confidential project, a machine learning tool purportedly capable of predicting market crashes. The specs were plausible enough to intrigue, but riddled with flaws only a skilled coder would spot. I leaked fragments through encrypted channels Ethan monitored, careful to let him discover the breadcrumbs himself. Within days, he took the bait. He stayed late, digging into dummy servers I'd fortified with false firewalls. I watched remotely as he bypassed each layer, his arrogance blinding him to the traps. The deeper he went, the more damning the digital fingerprints he left, a trail of access logs and keystrokes that mirrored his earlier breaches. Meanwhile, I seeded rumors among executives about a mole, framing the fake project as bait to flush them out. The final touch was elegance itself. I invited Ethan to a phony off-site meeting, citing a venture capitalist interested in his innovative work. The location: a co-working space owned by the rival firm he'd colluded with. Hidden cameras captured him entering, while planted documents linked him to a fictitious second mole within their ranks. The dominoes fell swiftly. The rival company, fearing internal espionage, cut ties with Ethan and launched an audit. His contact, a mid-level manager desperate to save her own skin, provided emails and payment records to our legal team. By the time Ethan realized the project was a mirage, he was entangled in a web of his own making, exposed not just to us, but to the very allies he'd betrayed. The aftermath was quieter than I'd expected. Ethan resigned quietly, avoiding litigation in exchange for a non-disclosure agreement, but the true damage was subtler. In tech circles, reputation is currency, and his was now radioactive. Recruiters ghosted him. Former colleagues muted his LinkedIn posts. Even his GitHub contributions, once vibrant with collaboration, stagnated into digital graveyards. Months later, I learned he'd moved back to Ohio, working IT at his uncle's auto shop. The poetic justice wasn't T lost on me. The protégé who traded ethics for ambition, reduced to resetting passwords for mechanics. But the victory tasted bittersweet. In isolating Ethan, I'd isolated myself. Colleagues praised my vigilance, yet flinched at my intensity. Trust, once broken, ripples outward. Mara quit, citing burnout. Liam transferred to a satellite office. The office, once buzzing with late-night coding sessions, now hummed with paranoia. Yet, I'd do it again. Betrayal demands a ledger, and I balanced ours to the last decimal. Ethan's downfall wasn't just punishment. It was a lesson etched into the company's psyche. Some call it cruelty. I call it clarity. In the end, data doesn't lie, and neither do I.